Alright, what is up YouTube? Welcome back to the channel. To the first owner road to glory, we're going to be going over the custom tactics for the 352. But before I can go ahead and get into that, go ahead and hit that like and that subscribe button, because then it helps me out. It allows me to make more custom tactics for you guys. And that's basically a thank you from you guys to me. Go ahead and leave, if you guys also leave like at least 15 likes on this video, I will post this 541, which is crazy, like to break down and to attack, and then this one, which is a super attacking formation right now, but like a very attacking formation. But I'll post those later on today if I get 15 likes on this video. But let's get into it. 352. So it's this formation. It does defend in a 5-back. Normally I like a 4-back to defend with, but with this new patch that just came out, I feel like defending with a 5-back just allows you to concede a little bit less, but it also gives you the wing play, and the wing play is very important right now to do cutbacks, to be able to shoot like Travella shots, just to basically spread out your opponents, because your opponent is literally playing like a park the bus. They're playing like congested. They're playing like a 4-4-2 defensive usually, and they're like playing like 30 width, so they're like super congested in the box. So to spread that out, I like to play this formation, or like a 5-back formation that you have wingers bombing forward, back and forth, right? Really important before I get into the tactics. When you play this formation, you're gonna go inside the game and you're gonna turn on hug the sideline. So you're gonna do the up arrow as soon as you get into the game after you change to this formation, up arrow, and then press the left, so your wingers touch the sideline. So for example, for me, Jarzinho and Natal, they're going to be on the wings at all times, just open, so you can always switch the play out if you ever need to. If you get pressed, it's easier to switch the play out. Uh, it's just one of the best formations overall. But make sure you put on hug the sideline, because that's very important. Alright, and then last thing before I continue going. The reason why I really like this formation of 352 is because technically it's like all the formations all in one. It's like you got the 4-1-2-1-2 narrow with wingers now, which is its weakness. You got a 4-4-2, so these are the 4-4 with an extra cam. You have the 4-2-3-1, so right here the 4-2-3 and then 1, and then you got an extra striker. So it's like every formation you want plus 1. So it's very hard to break down, and it's very good attacking. I'll get into the players that you need at the very end, but let's get into the tactics. So, what the heck? Tactics. So there's 2 variations to it, and it's completely up to you, whichever one you want to use, but I suggest starting off with this one. Defensive style balance with 37, debt 72. I went back to the auto offsides trap. I've been really enjoying it. I went 10-0 on the qualifiers. I already got my homegrown 11 got done with this, and did half of my division 1 rival games with this. So 72 debt is really good. It's tried and tested. But if you don't like the 72 debt because you don't like the auto offsides trap, if you're on old gen, you can go ahead and drop it down to 55 or down to 50, even as low as 45. Whatever you feel comfortable with. You can kind of change the debt up to you, whichever way you want to go. What's more important is the instructions and the width. Leave the width at 37. Don't change that, because you want your 3 center backs compact, right? But the debt, you can change it. Old gen 45 to 50, even as high as 55. If you're on new gen, then you can go 55 or 60. Somewhere around there. You can even go as low as 51, 50, but not too low. Just because for some reason on new gen it kind of drops down a little bit too much. Build the play balance, chance creation, forward runs. I love forward runs in this tactic. If you don't like forward runs, then you can switch it to direct passing, but please try out forward runs. I like forward runs. It doesn't pull your players out of position so much. It just basically your 3 strikers make runs for you without involving your center mids too much, pulling them out of position, or your wingers way too much. So the reason why is because you have 3 players in the box, so only those 3 players are going to be darting forward at all times, right? If you put direct passing, it starts adding more players that you don't want to add into the attack, because you can't get countered because you only have 3 center backs and 2 CDMs defending, right? So just keep that in mind. But if you are on new gen, you can switch it to direct passing, but please try out forward runs first. With 45. But remember, uh, when you're in game, D-pad tactics, up arrow, left, hug the sideline. Players in box 3, don't change that, leave it as is. You can go higher if you want, but you're gonna concede a lot of goals. And I only conceded like maybe like 3 goals on qualifiers. I'm not gonna lie to you. So just leave it on 3 players in the box. You already have 3 attackers and you have 2 wingers bombing forward. You don't need anything else besides that. Corners and free kicks 1 and 1. I'll go over the players later. Let's get into the goalie. Comes for crosser, sweeper, keeper because you are playing a high line. If you play a lower line, then you can go ahead and take those off if you want. Depends on how you play or your defensive line. Your 3 center backs all stay back while attacking. That's it. Your 2 CDMs cut passing lanes, stay back while attacking, cover center for both of them. And then your right mid come back on defense. That is it. And your left mid come back on defense. That is it. So they'll drop all the way back down to defend as a 5 back, and they're still gonna bomb forward. I used to have get into the box for cross, but I don't want them to run into the box every single time, especially when you're playing against opponents that counterattack you or are parking the bus. If you make them go into the box, then whenever you're trying to defend, it takes them longer to run backwards, right? So I only want them to go inside the box whenever it can be a guaranteed goal. If not, I'll just leave them on default. So they'll kind of either stay around the edge of the box, maybe run inside. It just depends if you trigger them yourself or not. So leave it as is. Your cam, very, very important. Put them on stay forward, get into box or cross. The reason why we have stay forward is because you have this little triangle of death waiting on a counter attack. So you can literally always send any one of these 3, and the other 2 are going to be making runs in behind because of the stay forward or because of the forward runs tactic. So make sure you put them on stay forward so you always have 3 that are ready to counter attack your opponent, especially if they're playing you with a 4-3-2-1 or a 4-1-2-1-2 narrow, because they usually make their fullbacks go up. Then they're defending only with 2 center backs and you have 3 attackers. It's a guaranteed counter attack. But the reason or the tactic that will make your cam run in front of your strikers is to get into the box or cross. So there is some instances I'm building up from the backward, like Jarzinho, for example. When I send it to Cruyff, my cam, which is Stoikov, is already making a run in behind. The reason why is because of the get into the box or cross. Your opponent doesn't know how to defend that. When your striker is literally dropping down, bringing his center back down, and you do like a quick little reverse elastico, Stoikov is by himself running behind their center back, and all of a sudden you got a free shot on goal. Also, right now, when you do have a free shot on goal, because you will allow with this formation, ball rolls are really effective right now against the goalie, finally, and fake shots. Those are really, really effective, besides chipping them and doing like cherry pickers or like cutbacks and stuff like that, right? So yeah, so make sure you put the get into box or cross. And then the 2 strikers stay central. That is it. Nothing else. Don't put getting behind because you have forward runs and you need them to build up the play too. And then I'll just go into the players that you need to use, and then I'll let you guys go. I'll post some gameplay later on, maybe tomorrow. I don't have too much time today. Maybe tomorrow or the day after, on how to actually play with this in the Division 1 en route to go back into the Elite Division as soon as I get a little bit more time. So center backs, if you're gonna start off with a 4-4-2, or you like to build up like a 4-4-2, if that makes sense, like if you have the players for a formation of like a 4-4-2, that's what I'm trying to get to, that's fine. You can build up, you can do that. You can still customize this to that. So you have your 2 center backs, and you can play one of your left back or your right back as a center back. Just make sure they're really strong and have good defensive awareness. Make sure on your 2 center mids you have one that's a destroyer, a tank like a Thuram or Vieira, even that for birthday Conte, and then you have a box to box on the left, like for me I got Pirlo, or you can do Nkunku, you could even do Sedan, you could do any box to box. Rabiot will be good here. Anybody there that's a box to box that can really pass the ball, because they're going to be very important to do long through balls or switching the ball from one side of the field to the other side of the field. Your wingers, make sure they're high. So I got Ital and Jarzinho. So at high, they drop all the way down to defend. So they actually drop deeper and to actually make the defensive line. If they're not a high defensive work rate, if they're like a medium defensive work rate, they won't drop as deep. So try to make sure you get a high. Skiller, At least a 5-star weak foot or a 5-star skill move, 4-star skill move, somewhere on there, because you're going to be doing a lot of running down the wing with them, doing step overs, cutbacks, all that good stuff. So for me, I got Atal and Jarzinho. Those are perfect right there. You can even put Cancelo there if you need to, like a fullback that goes there. Somebody like that, Nuno Mendes, stuff like that. Jarzinho's perfect on the right hand side unless you want to play him as a cam or striker. But for me, on the wing, he's fine. Your cam, try to get a really good uh yeah, it can be a skiller, but try to get a really good passer of the ball, somebody that can shoot, like a number 10, and that's kind of strong because you will get pushed on the ball a lot. So for me, that's Stoikov. He does really good right there. And then try to get two strikers. I got both of my 5-star skill, 5-star weak foot strikers, which is Sedan and Cruyff. And it's crazy. I play Sedan as striker with the Hunter. If you use skill moves to turn, ball rolls, fake shots, he's excellent there. Him and Cruyff and Stoikov can link up the play so good. So you can basically do that if you've ever tried Sedan as striker, or if you never have, try him. I recommend him. He's really good. But yeah, those are the players that you should be using there. And yeah, go ahead and try out the tactics. They are a little bit hard to learn at the beginning, so give it a few games. Give it like 3 to 5 games, just so you can learn the way to actually attack with them, because you have to learn the patterns. You can build up a lot through the wings and then do cutbacks, or you could attack directly through the middle, just depending on what your opponent is playing, because you can kind of counter any formation with that formation. But yeah, so let me know if you like them down below. Go ahead and try them out. I try to post this a few days before Foot Champs, so you can try these out before Foot Champs, because that is most likely what I'm going to be using for Foot Champs. I always go back to that 3-5-2. It's one of my favorite formations in the game, like top 5 for me. But yeah, alright guys, I'll see you guys in the next one. Have a great one. Peace.